All right, next up, a documentary about a couple who changed the business that we're all in, television. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were groundbreaking Hollywood heavy hitters back in the day. And the new fascinating documentary, Luci and Desi, pulls back the curtain on how it all happened.
I'd like you to meet my favorite redhead, the mother of my children, ladies and gentlemen, Lucille Ball.
On Amazon Prime, the documentary is produced and directed by comedian Amy Poehler, and it's really an eye-opening look at the lives of Luci and Desi, obviously best known for their hit show, I Love Lucy, which was groundbreaking, but this film focuses on so much more, and thanks to a whole bunch of archival footage and audio tape recordings that had never been seen before, plus old home movies, it's really storytelling at its very best. And Luci and Desi do a lot of that storytelling themselves. We also hear from their family, their friends, their children. Amy Poehler does a beautiful job painting a complete picture of their lives. And guys, I do think that this documentary kind of got overshadowed a little bit because everyone was talking about being the Ricardos with Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem. But this is really, really well done. It's well worth your time. I cried like a baby at the very end because it was so emotional. I was so proud. It's weird to be proud of Amy Poehler because she doesn't know me from the next guy, but I was really proud of her because it's really well done. And you can tell that she has love for them and what they did for television.
And Patrick, wasn't their daughter involved in this? Was
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. She's throughout it. And you hear from their son also through audio tapes. And you hear from Carol Burnett and a whole bunch of other Hollywood heavyweights who knew Luci and Desi. And you really get kind of like a new look on how Desi was a game changer in television, just a complete game changer. And I think that's often or sometimes overshadowed because people love Luci. They love Luci so much. But Desi was a mover and a shaker. He was not to be screwed with. And also just a great musician and kind of a heartthrob back in the day. Some of the old pictures.
He wasn't always nice to Luci, though. Let's not forget that.
True. No, absolutely.
Kind of a dog.
True, absolutely true. But like a little bit of a heartthrob back in the day. A really well done documentary.
I will add to that pride, actually, with you. You said you were really proud of Amy Poehler. It makes me really proud for Desi because when you say revolutionized, that doesn't begin to cover. Before him, there wasn't 3 cameras on a sitcom. He owned an entire studio. And as a Cuban American at the time, that makes me proud. And to your point of Andrew, whether or not the daughter was involved or not, she spoke so eloquently. And this is where I teared up, Patrick, of their last ever phone call before he died. And that's something that really wasn't covered in the other one. And to your point, yes, absolutely. That was a phenomenal movie. This one really, really goes deep. And it's great. Yeah, I love this one.
I've watched a lot of interviews with Luci, and you could tell that Desi was truly the love of her life, regardless of what they went through and all the ups and downs. She loved that man so much, let alone, let's just think about, they were an interracial couple in the 50s making a TV show. She was a woman producing it. Like none of that was ever, they were such trailblazers, both of them.
And
they were, before that, wasn't that they didn't even have a pregnancy on television. The fact that they wanted to show her being pregnant was absolutely not, no crazy. Mind you, they had to go through the sponsors who were cigarette makers at the time. So, imagine how much has changed between now and then. That's amazing.
And their relationship is so iconic. Like they point out in the documentary that people don't realize that they were both remarried after they divorced, and they were married to their other people longer than they were married to each other. But everyone remembers Desi and Luci.
Like Sonny and Cher. You always loop them together too. Yeah.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that, but that's totally true. A great documentary. I agree with you. 100%. Amazon Prime, really good.